Here are the ingredients that you will need to make a macaroni gratin. First of all, for the bechamel sauce, you will need 50 grams of flour, 50 centiliters of milk, and 50 grams of butter, freshly grated nutmeg or a pinch of powdered nutmeg, salt and pepper. Now for the actual macaroni gratin, you will need 150 grams of pitted green olives, 300 grams of diced ham, 400 grams of macaroni, and 100 to 150 grams of grated cheese. The utensils needed for the macaroni gratin: 2 pots, one big pot for cooking the macaroni, and a smaller one with a wire whisk to cook the bechamel sauce. I just want to mention here that it is preferable to use a pot like this one, which will not get scratched by the whisk. A Teflon bottom pan would get damaged. You will also need a large bowl in which to mix the macaroni, the ham, olives, and bechamel with a large spoon. To begin the bechamel, I suggest you heat the milk either on the stovetop or in the microwave, which might be the more practical solution with less washing up afterwards. The milk needs to be very hot, so I'm turning up the power on the microwave. Meanwhile, I'm going to melt the butter, into which I'll add the flour. While the milk is heating up, I melt the butter in the saucepan. To melt the butter faster, break up the 50-gram block into smaller pieces. You may also want to increase the heat just long enough to melt the butter, then decrease the heat once you're ready to add the flour. I lower the heat so that I can add the flour without burning it. You can either add all the flour at once if you can whisk the mixture quickly, or progressively. In both cases, begin to whisk immediately so that all of the flour is mixed into the melted butter, forming a paste. I add the heated milk progressively while whisking so that lumps do not form. You could also take the pot off of the heat while you add the rest of the milk so as to avoid the formation of lumps. By now you should have a very fluid mixture. Once you have added all of the milk and the mixture is smooth, you can take advantage of this time to add the salt and pepper. Count about 5 or 6 turns of the pepper mill. The amount also depends on your taste, but the pepper does help to bring out the flavor. I'm also going to add salt and ground nutmeg. You always need to verify with the whisk that the mixture does not stick to the bottom of the pot and that it becomes thicker as it cooks. The bechamel is ready once it's thick enough to see traces of the whisk. Now we put it aside while we cook the macaroni. Cook your pasta in a large pot of boiling water. Pour it all into the boiling water, to which you have already added salt. Use a large wooden spoon or fork to stir for about 20 seconds. This will prevent the pasta from sticking together. Allow the pasta to cook for slightly less time than recommended on the package. As far as I'm concerned, the package indicates that I should cook the pasta for 11 minutes total, but I will only cook them for 8 minutes so that they're very al dente. The pasta will finish cooking in the bechamel sauce in the oven. Once you've strained the pasta, put them directly into the mixing bowl. Add in no particular order the ham, the olives, either whole or halved. I simplify the work, which saves time, by adding the olives whole. Finally, add the bechamel sauce, which you have already prepared. Mix all of the ingredients except for the grated cheese, which you will mix in at the end. I'm going to add some more salt and pepper. Be careful with the salt, because if you add a lot of olives, you may end up with a very salty dish. And now we put our mixture into the baking dish. Spread the macaroni evenly into the dish. Now you can add the grated cheese on top. You can use Emmental or Comté like I did here. The choice of cheese is totally up to you. The grated Comté is a little more flavorful than the Gruyère. Cover the entire surface of the gratin with the cheese. Place the dish in the middle of the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Here's the result of the macaroni gratin. In this baking dish, you can bring it to the table as is. I suggest you serve the gratin with a small green salad to add some freshness to this hearty, very comforting dish. We just finished preparing a macaroni gratin. Don't hesitate to increase the quantities because the gratin is excellent reheated, exactly like lasagna. Here are the ingredients that you will need to make a macaroni gratin. First of all, for the bechamel sauce, you will need 50 grams of flour, 50 centiliters of milk, and 50 grams of butter, freshly grated nutmeg or a pinch of powdered nutmeg, salt and pepper. Now for the actual macaroni gratin, you will need 150 grams of pitted green olives, 300 grams of diced ham, 400 grams of macaroni, and 100 to 150 grams of grated cheese.